Welcome back to Workplace Safety Show. Jay Smith along with Darren Llewellyn, and I'm going to actually revisit a few items today that we've covered in some previous shows, but topics that you still get on a pretty frequent basis that people are still asking about.
Yeah, some common questions. One of those, we've been getting it for years. The question is, when will OSHA adopt 70E? When will it be the law? Or is it the law? And let me clear this up and make sure we're all clear. It is not the law.
Right.
The 2012 70E that just came out is not the law. The 2009 is not the law. A lot of what is in OSHA regulations, 1910, 331 through 335, comes out of earlier editions of 70E, but the current editions, it has not been adopted yet. And that just really doesn't matter. Because you know who doesn't care?
OSHA.
OSHA,
Right.
You're right. OSHA doesn't care. OSHA is using 70E as the best practice for protecting people from electrical hazards. What you need to worry about is that OSHA's requirement to you is that you protect your people from electrical hazards, and those hazards are shock and arc. And they expect you to use the best practices. And right now those are 70E. So whether it's the law or not is really not that important to any facility. It's that you use it to comply with what OSHA does say. So don't worry about if it's the law, when it's going to be adopted or anything else. There's no reason to put any amount of time in discussing or arguing that. It just doesn't matter.
Right, and I think a lot of where you get these questions, and we see this a lot, is because someone in an organization is pretty passionate about trying to implement NFPA 70E, and it gets to a higher level where this question gets asked. Well,
right.
Before we spend this money or take this time or utilize these employees to enforce this, show me where it's the law. I think that's where a lot of times the people proposing the question to you are stuck at.
Right.
And if that's your case, for any viewers that are watching this today, please call us. Get on our website, look around a little bit, because we can explain a little bit further as to how 70E is being used by OSHA, what OSHA is enforcing, what all the regulations are as far as protecting an employee from electrical shock, because that's pretty vague, electrical arc, electrical shock.
On our website, we've got the open letter to CEOs that I wrote several years ago. If you come up against a management person that says we're just not going to do 70 until it's the law, or until it becomes the law. Well, I got a good question for you, and it kind of spells out in the letter that if you're not going to do 70 right now, what are you going to do?
Right.
You got to do something, and nothing is no answer. You can't, business as usual. If all you're doing is reading the OSHA regulations and trying to do that, well, you fall way short.
It's not getting you very
far.
No, right.
Way short.
Right.
70 is way, further than the OSHA regulations, and OSHA just simply says you got to protect your people from electrical hazards. Yeah, I point some stuff out in 132 and other places, but 70 is how to get that done.
Right.
So if you're not going to do 70, I'd be very interested in knowing how you're going to do it without it.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Yeah. So sum that up pretty simply. I like the way you put that. It's not the law, and that doesn't matter. I mean, that's about as simple as you can say it. And as mentioned, if you need any additional clarifications on that, poke around our website or give us a call directly here, and we can help you out with that. Okay, kind of going along that, we do have this new 2012 edition out now.
2012. Yep.
And what we're starting to see is, how does this affect me? We did this in 2004. We already went through this in 2009. Are there things that with this new edition I really need to worry about? Darren's getting an urgent phone call here. I'm assuming that's probably from the grandbaby. I don't know. That's the bat phone there. We might need to take that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we can move on without that. But going back to that, here I am. I've done this. Okay. We've got a new edition, and what are some things that are significant?
One thing that the most urgent need that most people are going to see is if you had an arc flash analysis done and you've got labels up on the plant, a lot of people on the labels tried to put all of the PPE that is required. We never did that because it just won't fit. On our labels, I've got one here, Logan will probably insert one, maybe, but on our labels here, we just put category appropriate.
Right.
The reason we've always done that is because that could change. And guess what?
It did.
It did. It just changed.
Right.
So if all of you went out and printed your labels, or you're the consultant that did it for you, printed, all the FR clothing and all these things that are required, well, the big change that occurred now is that a balaclava is required in Category 2.
Right, and that's the racing sock.
The head sock.
Head sock that you put on.
Yeah.
Right, and that's now a requirement for Category 2. Had you not included that in a label that was printed with all of the PPE requirements for Category 2, your label is now insufficient.
It might need to be updated,
Okay.
which could be a huge thing. So when you print new labels, be careful. Too much information sometimes a bad thing, especially since that information could change. If you just put category appropriate, as long as they don't change the categories, then the clothing inside can change, and your label is still good.
Right. Okay. And you mentioned that was a significant, urgent thing to look at, is to just see what your labels, how they were printed. Obviously, we can do 20 or 30 additional shows on all of the changes that came in here.
Yeah.
But nothing really too great that anyone should be really worrying about right now.
Yeah,
if you've already done it,
yeah,
you're more than likely covered. Everything
Yeah.
should be good. There's a few other requirements that if you're interested in knowing some of those changes, buy the book. That's a good place to start. They put them in gray. It outlines anything that was changed. But as always, our website, llewellyn.com, you can get a lot of access to some of these changes. But I think that pretty well sums it up.
Yeah, we cover the changes also when I go out and do the presentations and when our instructors are teaching. And of course, there's lots of changes in this book, and we don't mean to say that there's just been one change. We just covered all of it right now.
Right.
There's others too.
Okay. So OSHA's not the law. Doesn't matter.
Nope.
Check your labels. See what they say as far as the Category 2. And if you have any further questions, as always, llewellyn.com. You can check that out, but if not,
I'm glad we got through this one today, because we've had the giggle fits earlier. We talked about a restaurant next door we can't wait to go, or down the road we can't wait to eat at lunch. Logan got paid, our cameraman got paged, I got a phone call. Jay kept saying something he shouldn't have said.
We'll edit all that out.
We got it through.
We got through it. All right. Well, thanks again for joining us on the Workplace Safety Show, and we'll see you right back here next time.
Thanks a lot.